How you doing, everybody? Hello. Welcome to the Postgame show. Great win today. Always love the Patriots Day game. I don't know what it is. There's just something about playing a game at 11 a.m. that I just really enjoy. I don't know why. It brings me back to the days, when I was a kid. Go to school all week, Saturday morning. You got a baseball game, soccer game, whatever it may be. I'd remember I'd have to be at the field or baseball field or soccer field like 9 a.m. sometimes. I don't know why I always love that. It just makes me think of Little League Baseball. But obviously a special day for Red Sox fans. Patriots Day, got the marathon. Obviously there's a lot of, meaning to Patriots Day, going back to 2013, with the Boston Marathon, the tragedy, obviously. That's a day that we all hold near and dear to our heart. So a lot of meaning there, but very nice to see the Red Sox pick up a win today. Love that. Absolutely love that. A lot of good things today. We'll get into it in the post-game show. Rob Refsnyder, Trevor Story, Christian Campbell, great games at the plate today. Walker Buehler, though, my goodness, he was the star of the show. What a great start for Walker Buehler today. And hey, you know what? You're coming into this thinking, all right, series win. Series split, a series split against the White Sox it would have felt like a massive L, if you ask me. So in the end, good to see the Red Sox. Hey, you know what? Yeah, you're going to have a lot of people say, oh, we should be sweeping this series. And yeah, you know what? Obviously getting a sweep is always great. But to walk away with the series W, going to a series against the Mariners, I love that. You now won the last two series now. Good to see. Good to see. So let's get into it here. Before I do get started, though, we have a word from our sponsor, HelloFresh.
FT fam, you got to check out HelloFresh. I know AJ's favorite part of HelloFresh. They've got the 15-minute meals, 3 steps, and you've got your dinner.
I love it. It comes fresh to your house. Mm-hmm. It's pre-packaged with all the ingredients in almost a brown bag. Comes with all the instructions. And what I like most about it is some people say, I don't like to cook. I like to actually chop the ingredients, cook them up. That way it makes it feel like, even though it was prepackaged, you feel like you're doing something. And it's so fresh. Fresh vegetables, fresh meat, high quality, comes with all the sauces, comes with all the spices you need.
Yes, and if you're like, hey, you guys talk about Green Chef, that's right. They're in the same fam. Both bring different strengths to the table. So check out HelloFresh, of course, and get yourself up to 10 free meals and a free high protein item for life at HelloFresh.com/FT10FM. 1 item per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's up to 10 free HelloFresh meals. Just go to HelloFresh.com/FT10FM.
Okay. All right. We are back. Go check out HelloFresh. They got some good stuff over there. I'm telling you, very, very nice stuff they have over there. Good deal. Take advantage of it. Use the code FT10. But let's get to it here. Let's get to the offense. I don't know. Do I want to start with Walker Buehler first? Let's start with Walker Buehler first. Let's get to that because I do think he was the star of the show. My player of the game for today. 7 innings, 1 earned, 9 Ks. When I talked to Walker Buehler last week in Tampa, the one thing he told me that he's been working on is the tempo. I felt like he just worked through this lineup very well today, had a nice pace today, using a lot of his pitches like he always does. He's always got a big repertoire of pitches, but the sweeper and the cutter were the big pitches for him today. 5 whiffs on the sweeper overall, 3 on the cutter. He was just working in the fastball. He was attacking. He was actually pretty... I think he was dead even when it came to pitches in the zone and out of the zone. 50 in the zone, 50 out of the zone, 100 pitches on the day. He just had a nice pace. He just worked in and out of the zone, using all of his pitches, changing the eye levels. Just a solid start for Walker Buehler, man. He had the few starts there to begin the year. They're a little bumpy. Seemed like he was still trying to get his footing, but he's looked fantastic here over the last few outings. Gotta love that. But Walker Buehler, easily player of the game for me today. Chapman gave up the home run, come out of the bullpen. Andrew Benintendi, I'm just saying, the guy likes Fenway Park. What can you do? But Justin Slayton continues to look nasty out of the bullpen. Gotta love what he did coming in here. We did see the bullpen yesterday have a tough day, right? Used a lot of the bullpen a couple of nights ago. So last night, you didn't have your best arms to go, Zach Kelly obviously not having a great day coming out of the bullpen yesterday. So I'll keep saying it. I do wonder if the Red Sox, eventually add something for the bullpen. But you do know when you get to the nitty gritty, you got these guys like Chapman and Slayton who can come in and just shut the door. So overall, good day for the pitching staff. But the offense today, gotta love the offense for today. To me, what I liked about this offense, is that, this year, the Red Sox, funny stat for the Red Sox on the year. They have had, I had it pulled up. I don't think I'm going to be able to pull it up here. I'd have to go dig for it. But the Red Sox and the Cubs lead in the amount of swings this year and also the amount of balls in play. The Red Sox, this year, it's funny because when I saw that stat, I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right, because this Red Sox offense, it feels like they're just hacking all the time. They're just going up there looking to do damage. And, when I saw the number, I'm like, oh, all right. Yeah, that absolutely is correct. Because if this is a team, over the years of how many years I've watched this team to me feels like they are just up there, just going for just doing whatever they can to just put the ball in play. But what I have not liked about this Red Sox offense so far this year, the amount of swings that they've taken, but they are one of the worst this year in Major League Baseball when it comes to contact percentage. So it's, that's something that I've been a little frustrated with. But today it felt just different. It was just a different day where they were working the counts a little bit better. They were just not trying to do too much. You had Rob Refsnyder with the home run there in the second inning, getting the start against the righty today. That home run tied it up. That was one thing I said, coming into today's game against Cannon. This is a guy that gets a lot of ground balls. And, look to put the ball in the air. If you could find a moment where you can do some damage, putting the ball in the air, well, there you go. And that's what Rob Refsnyder did today. And good to see him doing some damage against the righty today. Now, my guess is Duran, he got the start out in center field. And then Seti had the day off today. My guess is, the hit by pitch yesterday, they probably just gave him a day off. That seems to be the schedule with him. It's like every 3 or 4 games, they give him a day off. But it just kind of worked out that way. Obviously, the hit by pitch. So, I was kind of speculating before the game. Could this be they're prepping Duran for center field? Maybe a possible call-up? Maybe Roman Anthony? I don't know, maybe. But my guess is that Seti was just getting a bit of a day off today. Third inning, Jarren Duran leading it off with a double. Unfortunately, Duran had a drop ball out in center field today. I don't know. It's just, I'm talking about Little League earlier. I think of my coaches, growing up. They always say, two hands, catch the ball out in front of you. It's so funny. I see this kind of stuff, happen at the major league level. And I just always think of my Little League coaches, man, all the time. But Duran did have a double today to get things started in the third inning. Bregman had the walk, and then Trevor Story continuing his very solid season. RBI base hit to make it 2-1. But then Christian Campbell coming up there, and love the at-bat from Christian Campbell today. Fouling off pitches, working the count, ended up getting the RBI base hit to the opposite side. I love that. There was a bit of a hole on the right side, and instead of just trying to do too much with it, he just put the ball in play, made good contact. It was a 4-1 game. Christian Campbell, he is having himself just a very good rookie season, man. I mean, my goodness, through 76 ABs right now, hitting .316 with a .418 on base, .918 OPS overall. You got to think right now, he is easily, it's very early, obviously. We got a lot of season left. But, with the way he's established himself in the early going, he's really put himself at the front of the line to be the Rookie of the Year favorite, in my opinion. But again, nothing crazy on the day today. You got the Refsnyder home run, but you just worked the counts today. You didn't try to do too much. You made good quality contact when it mattered most. And that was it. Got the W. So moving on here, and also one more thing I do want to mention, home plate umpire Phil Cousy today. My goodness. Listen, I don't like to whine about umpires very much, because it always goes both ways. But, it's just funny because I had Blue Jays fans, coming after me on Twitter land, after that series saying, oh, the umpire was terrible. Well, there you go. Well, the Red Sox, they got a they got the short end of the stick today when it came to bad calls from the umpire. Luckily, they ended up, getting the win in the end, but a few bad calls. A lot of Refsnyder, he struck out later in the game. He got pretty cheesed off about that call. So bad umpiring. It's always going to go both ways. You're going to get good days from the umps. You're going to get bad days from the umps. That's just baseball. So I see you, Moose, in the chat. Story is on fire. Phoenix in the chat. Great dub today. Hoping this is the start of some rolling. Casas really got to figure something out. Yeah, when it comes to Casas here, again, it just seems like he's still trying to find his way. Still, he's making big hacks. He's making some decent contact here over the last few days, but it's just not falling through to him. It's not falling through. I don't know, man, but give it time. You go back to that 2023 season, he's, last year, yeah, he had 6 home runs to start off the year, but the overall slash line wasn't great. Just give it time with Casas. He's making the big swings. I just wonder if there's something maybe mechanically that's going on where maybe he just doesn't have the stroke isn't quite as good as it could be, right? He's making the good contact. He's getting the barrels. It's just a matter of, let's start seeing some line drives here, right? He's putting the ball in the air, but a lot of flyouts with him. I'm just waiting for more of that solid stroke across the zone, right? I feel like it's getting there. We'll see. We'll see with Tristan Casas. A lot of season left. So we do have a pretty tough matchup coming up here against the Seattle Mariners. Seattle Mariners coming up here. They're off to a pretty similar start to the Red Sox here. Pretty similar start. And but the notable story for the opener tomorrow at 6:45 Eastern Time, Brayan Bello making his season debut. Brayan Bello has been playing catch-up here. He was having a couple of arm issues to start off spring training, so he got pushed back a little bit. But Brayan Bello making his return. The starting pitching has been very solid to start off the year, minus a couple of bumpy starts. But it'll be nice to see Bello back on the mound tomorrow. Obviously, last year had a very good second half. And then in the Netflix documentary, he was getting a lot of attention in that. So I think they're excited to see Bello back on the mound. Let's get a bit more energy. And I'm not saying the Red Sox are lacking energy, but Bello is going to bring that fire a little bit to the team. He's going to bring that competitiveness. Not saying the Red Sox don't have that already, but he'll be a welcome addition back to the clubhouse. So Sean Newcomb, who's actually on the postgame show right now, he'll be getting the start in Game 2. And then Garrett Crochet on the mound for Game 3. It is a 3-game series before they head to Cleveland. Now, with the Mariners, we all know the deal. With the Mariners, it's the starting pitching. That's the one thing you fear. The Red Sox will be avoiding both Logan Gilbert and George Kirby in this series because Logan Gilbert, he'll be making a start against the Marlins in the next series. He just started not too long ago. And then George Kirby, he's on the IL with some shoulder issues right now. So for the Red Sox, they'll be going up against Bryce Miller, Emerson Hancock, and Bryan Woo. Now, with Emerson Hancock in Game 2, Hancock, this is a guy where he just hasn't really been able to figure it out at the major league level, since coming up. He got drafted in the first round back in 2020. But this is a matchup you really want to take advantage of because the other two, the opener and the finale, you got Bryce Miller and Bryan Woo. These guys, they are electric. One of these guys, I've been hoping the last couple of off seasons, maybe the Red Sox could pull off some kind of a trade. And, according to reports, the Red Sox, they have definitely shown some interest in these guys. With the Mariners, they are just too reluctant to get rid of starting pitching at this point. So Bryce Miller, he's off to a great start. 4 starts, ERA at a 3.43, FIP at a 3.08. He's going to pump a lot of fastballs. He's going to work the sinkers. This guy's nasty, man. This guy's nasty. Bryan Woo as well, man. This guy was very good last year. 22 starts, ERA at a 2.89, FIP at a 3.40. Bryan Woo is a guy, he's not going to get a ton of strikeouts. He's really going to work to contact a bit more than you would think, considering the stuff that he has. But Last year, 7.5 strikeouts per 9. This year, right around the same, 7.6. The walks are up a little bit, but he had a very small home run rate last year at 1 per 9. And this year, it's at a 0.7. So he's been doing a great job at keeping the ball in the yard. As for Bryce Miller, he is walking a few more guys so far this year. 2.2 walks per 9 last year. It's up to 4.2 this year. But a big difference with him is he's also lowered his home run per 9 rate as well. He's gotten a little bit of a bump in the strikeouts so far. But these two, the Red Sox are going to have their hands full. They're going to have to bring their best offensive approach. These guys got good velo. They got good stuff. So this could be, again, with the Red Sox offense this year, it's been a little up and down. This is going to be a tough series. You're going to have your hands full with both Bryce Miller and Bryan Woo. And, I mean, who knows? Maybe Hancock ends up, coming out and dealing. He hasn't looked very good so far. So this will be an interesting series, And again, going up against Bryce Miller, Bryan Woo, Brian Bayo, he's making his season debut. Let's see. I'm always iffy on the season debuts. How are you going to be looking? How many innings is he going to go? Remember, he is working back, from some arm issues. So I do wonder if there will be a bit of a pitch count with him. We'll see. And then Newcomb, sure, he's had a couple of good moments this year, but against the Rays, he was pretty solid for the most part. But I think that's the best possible guy that, considering you got Hancock, like I said, hasn't been amazing in his time in the major leagues. I think that's the, for Newcomb to start a game, that's the best matchup, I think, for him. And then Garrett Crochet. That's a good thing, Garrett Crochet going up against Bryan Woo in Game 3. Crochet has just been very good in the early going this year. Last couple of starts against the White Sox, they made some adjustments against him the next time out. But he's just been dominating overall since putting on the Red Sox uniform. ERA to 1.13. I think the Red Sox should be able to take 2 out of 3 here, right? You should be able to get a win against Emerson Hancock. Garrett Crochet should be able to hold his own against the Mariners with Bryan Woo going for them. That's going to be a very good matchup. That's going to be a fun matchup to watch. I'm excited for that. But you should be able to win 2 out of 3 here. We'll just have to wait and see on that. But before we do get out of here, I'm going to be reading your series reactions just like we do at the end of every series here. I do see a lot of you in the chat talking. Good vibes in the chat that I see. Sean, how you doing? Let's keep gaining ground, you say? Absolutely. Yeah, the Red Sox, hey, they've got some momentum here. A couple of series W's. Gotta love it. Phoenix, wouldn't be surprised at all if we get shut out more than once this series. The hitting philosophy just doesn't make sense. Working counts and making the pitcher come to them is what should be done. Yeah, I'm gonna make a post a little later on what I saw on StatCast with the Red Sox leading the major leagues and the amount of swings that they're taking. Them and the Cubs are far ahead of every other team. But the big difference is that the Cubs, they're just making more contact, and the Red Sox are one of the worst contact percentage teams this year. So, yeah, Red Sox diehard, you're saying here, put the ball in play. Yeah, that's the thing. That they just got to make things happen a bit more. You saw that today here. You see what the Red Sox can do when they start putting these innings together where you're not just trying to, hit the ball to the moon every single AB, where, you're just making good productive contact like Christian Campbell did today. He saw a spot open, hit it to the opposite side, and ball went through. It's things like that go a long way. But let's take a look here at the series reactions. So, we got Buehler Abreu is my GOAT. What is the plan for first baseman if Casas' bat doesn't wake up? His approach at the plate is just awful now. Again, I do think it just seems like he's just trying to work through something right now because he is taking big swings. He's making good contact. He's getting the barrels. It's just not falling through for him. So I think they even mentioned that on the broadcast a little bit where they said that there was something mechanically that he was trying to work through, at least in the early going of the year. let's see. I'm not giving up on Casas just yet. I am liking the swings. You see the bat speeds there. You see he's putting the bat on the ball. It's not like he's, like what Raffy was doing in the first few games of the year where he's setting a record on strikeouts. He's getting the bat on the ball. We'll see. I'm hoping we're going to be seeing a bit of a breakthrough here. Hopefully sooner rather than later. What else we got here? Thomas, how you doing, my friend? Thomas got the series win. Now get them the hell out of here. Horrible team, but totally have our number. The White Sox, man. Frustrating. It's like it should have just been a much easier series, but for some reason, this White Sox team, they were just battling against the Red Sox, man. Just battling. Just a gritty team. What do we got here? Nick, how you doing, my friend? How you doing? And what do we got here? Buehler's a dog. Slayton's a monster. Crochet's a pig. Refsnyder hits righties. Gotta love that. He couldn't have said it any better. I love seeing Refsnyder doing some damage against the right-handed pitching, but also shout out again to Justin Slayton. This guy's just nasty. The curve that he's got, the velo that he's got. Honestly, make him the closer, man. Make him the closer. Let's get Chapman into the high-leverage lefty spot at the back end of the bullpen there. Add another guy. I think your bullpen's looking rather strong at that point. Let's get one more here. What do we got? We have here. I'll say one more about Casas here. Christopher, how you doing, my friend? What do you do with Casas? He's not helping the team win right now. Do you send him down to AAA to try and kickstart his bat? This is something, I feel like I mentioned this the other day. This is something I feel like not a lot of people have mentioned, right? I see all the time people talking about, the Casas naysayers. They say, we got to trade him. You got to get rid of the guy. Well, listen, first off, if he's struggling to start off the year, I don't know. Are you going to be able to find the best deal out there, especially if he's not off to a good start? But the one thing I haven't really seen people say is, could he go down to AAA? He has options. It's not like, he's either, a trade or DFA, I do wonder at some point if maybe an option down to AAA could be the best thing for him. I do think the Red Sox are going to give it time. I do think the Red Sox are going to be patient with it. It's only April. It's April 21st, You got to give it a little bit more here. I'd say May. That's when you're going to start to see possible moves if Casas doesn't get himself going, or whoever else, could be struggling, right? Or certain guys down in AAA, I don't know if you know them or not, Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer, they are pretty good. I wonder if you start to see some of those guys come up. Again, I don't think it's going to be tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be next week. I think at some point in May might be the time. The Red Sox right now, they've gotten themselves back on track here over the last week or so. So I think give it some time. Then I think you might start to see some roster moves. So we'll see. Phoenix in the chat. I'd say by mid-May, Casas doesn't get rolling, then he needs to go spend some time in AAA. And that's another thing, too. They're playing Vaughn Grissom at first base down in the minor leagues, too. So I wonder, with how good he's hitting down in the minor leagues, you might make a bit of a move there. I think the Red Sox, they just need some more bat-on-ball kind of guys. That's where, Roman Anthony, yes, I am excited for him to come up eventually. My goodness, that guy is going to be electric. But with Roman Anthony, the one thing that I do want him to clean up right now is try and get that strikeout rate a little bit better. I feel like the whiffs could be a little bit better too. When he is making contact, holy cow, it's ridiculous. But I really want to see this Red Sox team making more consistent contact, putting the ball in play a bit more, cutting down on the strikeouts. That's what I want. Roman is definitely going to be awesome. I'm not saying he won't be, but I also want to see some other guys getting into the mix where we can help alleviate those problems a little bit. But I also do think that could possibly be coming from a hitting philosophy as well. I will say this. I'm going to make a bit of a prediction. I will say this. Now, not expecting anything at all this year. I can't believe I'm even saying this after a win. But if the Red Sox, if the approach they take for this year, if they, stick to that same approach, the strikeouts are still happening a lot. You're not making as much contact as you would like. I do wonder in the offseason if they end up making some kind of a switch at the hitting coach position or at some kind of, some changes within the personnel. I do wonder if that's a bit of a possibility, right? Again, you get the W today, but when you start going up against these good teams, like the Mariners coming into the town, I think this is going to be a pretty decent test against their pitching. You're going to have to start making those adjustments, right? Even though you won 3 out of 4 against the White Sox, felt like you were scratching and clawing a little bit against this team. Again, give it time. Adjustments can be made, but would love Roman up, absolutely. Wouldn't mind Grissom up, especially with the way he's hitting and he's putting the bat on the ball. I do wonder at some point, if Casas continues to struggle, do they give Grissom a chance at first base? Could that be his opening, to cracking, and staying on a major league roster? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But everybody, I'm out of here. I'm going to wrap this up. Kind of weird going live at this time, 2:00 in the afternoon on the East Coast. Very odd. But I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you for joining me today for the post-game show. Always love Patriots Day. I love the 11 a.m. game. There's something about it. It's got a special feeling to it. Love it. But we'll be back here tomorrow night for the post-game show. I think I'm going to be doing a playback stream for tomorrow to watch Brian Bayo's debut for 2025. So look out for that. Go join the playback app. Go download it. Connect your MLB TV account and go join my room. If you just search for my name on there, you'll find it. It'll pop up first. But yeah, come watch the game with me tomorrow night. Come watch Brian Bayo's debut with me. I think that's going to be fun. But everybody, go enjoy the rest of your Monday, and I'll talk to you next time.